9.2 is out.
It is.
How's it been doing?
I think, well, how's it been doing? I have no idea because we'll never see how many players are playing anything whatsoever. But in terms of public opinion, I think a lot of people are like, Zereth Mortis is way better than we expected. And
Yeah. I have a big asterisk for you in that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I have many as well. But
A lot of people who played the game are going to say that. What I have noticed is people's willingness to give WoW a chance. Sometimes we release videos, it's like, whew, wow, they are really not interested in this game. But it feels heightened. I think they really did a lot of damage to themselves with how they did the positioning and the talking points of that video back before the new year, which is in fact the current year now. How scary.
Yep.
Where, people like very confused and it came out of nowhere. Because when you actually get into Zereth Mortis, it's like pretty brilliant. It's really nice. It's a beautiful zone. You've done a great job.
Yeah, no, it is.
It's like the attention to details.
Yeah, compared to Korthia, anything would be good. But I feel like people are going to be going in and expecting Korthia again because that's what they've been trained to expect. Because it's that tame. It's like, oh, it's Korthia, but you've made it green instead of grey.
Yeah.
But it is way better. Like, the content team should basically be proud of themselves for it.
Indeed.
That said, as someone in chat pointed out, we are in fact in the honeymoon period. So this is where it's going to be interesting, where Zereth Mortis is a great zone, but as a endgame gameplay zone for repeated activity, it is definitely not positioned very well for that.
Yes.
Because I don't know if this is, because there's some parts you want to juice up the initial experience so it feels great. Obviously, you want to do that for people to have a good memory of the patch. But it also feels so much like they've put so much effort into great one-time content that now that I'm engaging with it in terms of dailies, where I'm framing it as, I'm doing dailies now. I'm doing dailies, I'm doing my patterns within patterns, I'm waiting for rares to spawn. And I've done most of the one-time things. Well, most of the ones I have access to, because otherwise they've fucking time-gated a bunch of the one-time stuff behind ciphers. Which, just knowing that it's time-gating, knowing that I don't get to do a couple of treasures on the map until I come back in... I started last night, so maybe 3 days. All of the repeatability and, the what will keep you playing this patch isn't going to be great content. It's just going to be systems again.
I think
for open world stuff.
From a direction purpose, again, rewards design and world, like the protoform synthesis thing is great, but well, I'll just say it. The cipher of the first ones is a big heap of shite and is going to massively damage this patch. Now, there's bits of the cipher that are fine. Maybe some of the tweaking and the upgrades. Not that the energy system is at all cool. But it's like on day one, whenever you were done, you couldn't go and work towards a mount or a pet. What are you doing, you fucking donkeys? You utter donkeys. That's the thing that got me. There's so many people, they hop into the game and their day one experience, like they're feeling great. They've got up to the third stage of the campaign. They've done their dailies. They've, gallivanted about the map, done a few things, all good, people happy. But then there's that thing, okay, well, what else can I do here? Is there any sort of repeatable content? And I think they have... Well, they haven't really bothered to design... When was the last time they did... Was it the Santanax farming?
Basically.
It was the Santanax farming in patch 7.2, wasn't it? And I'm not saying the Santanax farming was the best thing ever.
Well, maybe End Expeditions count.
Oh boy. Yeah. But, there's no, thing to kind of keep on doing. The Timeless Isle, you could just do gulp frogs for some reason.
Yeah.
They don't have that repeatable sort of content thing down, which then means that Zereth Mortis just sort of dip in and out all for a wee bit, and then afterwards you're like, okay, what next? And I suppose Blizzard then comes in and says, yeah, but our game is all about the instance 3 pillars of content at the end, which, for a lot of people, that's maybe not what they want. They maybe want more of the world gameplay. Yeah. And they're maybe thinking about, Bosja, or they're thinking other things in other games. Yeah, no, in Guild Wars 2, or, whatever. I mean, man, seriously, you should see some of the Guild Wars 2 endgame maps. They're just like, hey, this map's a dragon. The fight is the map. That's it. These maps require friggin' crazy coordination between loads of people doing shit on the actual fucking map. It's so cool. It's so inventive. It's actually new, And yeah, man, Blizz didn't. That's the thing. They've made a beautiful zone, and as you said, the content, like the people just making all the bits, they should be really proud of themselves because they've done really great work. But nobody so far has really seemingly tried to do a like, okay, here's something cool in you.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember there was a glimpse of that in the Barons 5.3, you know,
Oh,
the
yeah,
little caravans
Yeah.
going through the zone. You do the caravan. But like, why is there not more of that, you know? Why do we not have, you know, moving, shifting battlefields across the zone? You know, players can like jump in and, you know, fight the people. And, you know, you fight a bunch of them. It spawns a big, you know, big mini boss. Maybe kill a few of the mini bosses. You spawn a little portal. Portal takes you into a random instance thing. Like the, what you call them, the portals in Argus. Like, why, you know, why don't we start trying to think about how we can make that like that kind of content flow, you know? Yeah. So they haven't done that.
Yeah, no, Baja's a really good comparison because Baja managed to get a bunch of ways that it's like, here's a big grind that isn't attached to other end-game content. And it's like, Baja, you can make yourself brutally sick of Baja. You can go in there so much that you'll never want to go in again. And a lot of players have done that, but it was a fun, relatively speaking, deterministic grind. Also, it had a whole bunch of extra content in it. So even, you know, ignoring Delibram Regine or Cast from Black Story, it's still like, here's a great thing. It was, who was it? I can't remember who it was. This thing was when someone on Twitter was saying to me. So it sounds like you got one Baja zone. So that's the thing with Baja. They made Baja and they made Zador, which expanded the whole way through Shadowbringers. And it's just this like, imagine if the mob became Korthia, became Zereth Mortis, but it was all one zone, and it kept getting bigger and bigger, and the whole thing was relevant the whole time somehow. And they managed to make that happen. And also there's a whole bunch of cosmetics in it that were like deterministically farmed. There were events, so players were going around, you know, because they've tried with rares in Zereth Mortis. They've tried a little bit. There are substantially more than that of interesting mechanics that you sort of...
Yeah.
You don't have to deal with, because it doesn't matter. If you have enough people, you'll be fine. But you can just die. You can not interrupt casts and make things worse for yourself. So they're trying a little bit there, but it's just not... Maybe it's just the expectation they have of their players or something, but it's not interesting enough. The part that is interesting is all of the one-time little bits of content that have like room for them to have dialogue, room for them to have a little bit of novelty in it. Yeah. But that's the thing. They can do novelty, but they cannot get you to do the same thing twice and not go, why the fuck am I doing this?
Basically what we need actually innovation from their team leads. I mean, if Blizzard is still the Blizzard that I know, it's like the team leads are pretty, you know... Let's just say I sort of know what a bit of a pitch meeting was like for one feature, and I was shocked at how top-down it was, considering it's a game development company and creativity's, you know, usually pretty good when it's collaborative.
Yep, for sure.
But they can be pretty top-down with things. So I don't know, whoever has to make the big decision there, it's like, I don't know, play Guild Wars 2, play other games, try to work out, like, how can you make a really cool living, breathing zone? Zereth Mortis is that thing where, like, they've spent so much money. In a way, they've spent so much money to make so little content.
Yeah.
And it's kind of tricky because the zone is beautiful. It is one of the best zones they've made. It's gorgeous. Mm-hmm. It's really, like, it's pushing the style forward. It's really cool. All of the parts are so nice, and it's a genuinely brilliant experience when you're there for the first time.
Yeah.
It's just, like, I want to see the art team's work actually utilized well for the overall game experience, not just the here's a minute of doing a rare. Yeah. You know, and that's the thing that the WoW team, I mean, I don't know if they just don't understand how to do this kind of content or they don't get it or whatever. I don't really know.
I think that's it.
But there's other MMOs in the market that are sort of, I mean, taking their lunch money in this.
For sure.
And I want to know, like, why can WoW not stand up to Guild Wars 2? Because they have so much more money.
Yeah.
You know, like, you look at the amount of money that Guild Wars 2 makes, and, like, WoW must make, I mean, how many times more money a quarter, right?
Yep.
So it's just that thing where I'm like, wow, why is there not more innovation, I guess? Why have we still got permutations of the format of the Timeless Isle? Like, the Timeless Isle was 2014?
I believe so.
Yeah, it's like, man, 8 years. You've been making the same zone again and again for 8 years. And you finally got to something that recaptures a bit more of the magic.
Yeah.
You know, and it does. It recaptures more of the magic of the Time Missile.
I will say the reason it captures the magic is because the initial questing experience and the Enlightened. Because basically the Enlightened carry the whole thing. It is all just, these feel like interesting versions of the Brokers. There's interesting character interactions between them. This place feels new enough. The atmosphere of the zone is really, really good. But then the actual, like, the gameplay of it is a bit... It's fine for novelty, but it feels like they've done the... You know what? They've made a questing zone. And then peppered a bunch of puzzles and fun stuff into it. But they haven't designed an end game zone. That's the thing. It's not an end game zone. The same way Korthia was sort of not an end game zone, because there's no end game anything in it. The end gaminess of it is a daily and then rares and treasures. And to be fair, you don't really need the rares or treasures every day. They've sort of made it so that's optional feeling. But without that, it's weird. They've made it so you don't have to do anything, but you also don't really want to do anything. That's kind of the problem.
Yeah, so they need to innovate instead of very, very, very slowly iterating the same thing, basically. But overall, we've enjoyed our experience in Korthia, so we feel pretty happy about that.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, we were both happy in day one, to be really clear.
Yeah, day two just slightly less, but
yeah, we still just have that feeling of like, okay, you hop in for day 2, and it's like 20 minutes of do 2 world quests, 2 dailies, and you're done.
Yeah.
Where what's the flow? Where's the in the same way you can be caught in an event train in Guild Wars 2 and, going between all the different world bosses in Guild Wars 2, doing multiple of them, because in Guild Wars 2 they don't throw old content in the bin instantly.
Yeah.
Where is that, like, extended, non-instanced world gameplay? And they still don't really have that. Which is unfortunate.